like to give a special shout out to GM Financial and Visa, who we are still working on trying to get to join us. I should thank you for all the work you're doing behind the scenes. I can see the emails flying around, and we'll get those folks in if we're able to iron out those technical difficulties. But let's jump into the questions, because I know there's a lot of questions that students have. I know there's a lot that you guys have to offer the group. You've given us a little overview of your program. So let's start with, I know the issue that's still sort of plaguing is a terrible word to use. I'm trying to pun, but the issue that's still with us, unfortunately, is the pandemic. I was curious how the pandemic has affected your industry and your internship program specifically, if there have been any changes. And do you have any special search tips or suggestions for students who are searching for opportunities in this environment? Madison, would you like to address that one first?
Yeah, absolutely. So to kind of give you all an overview of just who TTI is in general, or Tektronic Industries. So basically we're an umbrella of a bunch of different brands, such as Milwaukee, Ryobi, Rigid, Hoover, Hart, and then Dirt Devil as well. So a lot of our brands, especially in this first role, you'll be in store, whether that's with our retail partners, Walmart, Home Depot, or Target. So with those being deemed essential, we really haven't changed anything in terms of our internship program. Being in the home improvement industry, we've been really blessed and really fortunate to not have to change a lot of any attributes of our program, whether that's internship or full-time. We actually hired about 300 new employees when the pandemic first started, which was definitely a risk to start out, but hindsight's always 2020, and it definitely paid off for us in the long run. The brand that I actually started with, and I'm still with, Hart, we actually launched in 2020. Again, with it being in home improvement, we've seen a lot of success. In terms of looking for, a job or looking for an internship in the wake of the pandemic, I would definitely say utilize all of your resources, definitely be adaptable, go on LinkedIn, reach out to people if they're with a company that you're interested in, just to get insights. If you can't find out, more information on their website. Honestly, a lot of things have changed from, in person to now virtual. So definitely take advantage of that to your fullest potential, especially Handshake as well.
Thank you, Stephanie.
As far as COVID, when it first started, I think everybody was unsure what was going on. So we were on a very small hiring freeze. I'm sorry?
I think we just had we have a mic that we need to
So after that small little hiring freeze, we went back to hiring completely. So we were very fortunate that we did not have to let anybody go during the pandemic. We did have to put a pause on our internships only because at the time we were still virtual. We're back in the office. Our internships are in person. We do interview in person. Nothing has really changed other than our full-time employees do get to work from home 2 days a week. We're on like an alternating schedule, but for our interns, we would like them in the office so that they really get that experience and get to learn and work alongside, other professionals. So I would say, ours is, we're still going. As far as my tips for, being proactive, just as Madison mentioned, don't be afraid to put yourself out there. At Calvetti, we really like go-getters. So I love getting messages from students who are like, this is what I want. Do you guys have it? And then we go from there. Also, just be very straightforward if you are not wanting to work in the office and if you're wanting to be 100% remote, because, employers need to know that, because not every employer is 100% remote. So if that's an issue for you, please just make that known. That way we don't get you far along in the process. And then by the time the offer comes, you let us know that you cannot work in the office. Connecting, networking, making sure you get all of your questions answered. At the end of the day, I always tell interns, this is a chance for you to kind of see what's out there and what works for you, but we're also doing the same on our end. So the relationship needs to go well on both ends in order for us to present you an offer.
Thank you. I know we are all, I think most of the students I've interacted with are very excited to be back on campus, to be back in person. I know we're all looking forward to getting back to business as usual. One other area that's really been complicated, I think, by the pandemic is the opportunity to network, how to network, how to develop your network. What are people open to doing in terms of networking? Do you have any tips for how to create a strong professional network? Not necessarily within the COVID environment, but just for creating a network in general. And would you care to share? Almost everyone has that one really cool networking story that sort of changed things for them. Would you care to share maybe a networking story? Stephanie, do you care to get us started?
Oh, wow. So I'm a full-on recruiter, so I am constantly meeting people. I think I don't know a really cool one on top of my head, but I would say, what really helps me is just following up with people after I meet them. If I get that business card, connecting with them on LinkedIn, shooting them that nice to meet you. And if there was something that sparked in our conversation, mentioning that or asking that. And if I, especially if it's like a candidate that I'm interested in, grab coffee, even if now is not the right time. And same thing for students. Even if this employer that you meet is not maybe what you're wanting right now, keep in touch, because you guys may meet, again in the future, and that may be an opportunity for you. So, definitely never want to burn any bridges. I know this is a really bad term to use, but ghosting, employers, especially recruiters, will really put you in a bad light, and they do not forget. So always make sure, even if you don't want to interview, or you don't want the job offer, or you're not interested, communicate that to the employer, or whoever you're meeting, whatever opportunity it may be, because you never know when you may run across this person again later on in your career.
Absolutely. As much as what you should do, networking is a big part of networking is observing etiquette. Not necessarily doing the wrong thing in some cases. Madison, how about you? Any tips for networking or a great networking story?
Yeah, I'll definitely echo everything that Stephanie said. I think just to add on to that, not necessarily a big, extravagant story by any means, but when I was in school, I definitely, really leaned on my professors. They have so many, different people that they'll have come in, whether they're employers, to give presentations, anything like that. So definitely leaning on them, because they kind of have the in when it comes to employers. So if there's a certain, company you're after, a specific industry that you're looking to get into, definitely network with them, because they can put you in touch with a lot of different people. I cannot stress enough how important Handshake is, how important LinkedIn is. Having a up-to-date LinkedIn, especially with everything that's transpired with the pandemic. If you have all of your information on there, put your resume on there, because recruiters, and I'm sure Stephanie can agree with this as well, will reach out to you if your resume is on your profile and we see it and it's kind of sparks our interest. We'll reach out to you. We'll make the first move, but don't be afraid to make that first move either. Just be sure that you're being proactive with all of your accounts, especially since we're in such a digital world now.
Thank you. I thought we might have had a panelist join us, and I just want to do a quick check to see if Hayden might be with us. We're trying to reach people by phone as well. Hayden, can you hear us? Let's see if we can hear you.
Hey, David, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes. All right. I love it when a plan comes together, sort of. So I'm sorry we don't. I'm sorry we don't have the visual. I wish I had that headshot that you sent me that I could overlay on the screen here. But thank you for joining us, and I'm very sorry for the problem. We'll definitely get back into some questions. I wanted to give you an opportunity though to introduce yourself and talk a bit about your program to get us started.
Oh yeah, and no worries at all. I think it might be our system. It could be to blame just as much as anything else. But I also want to say a big you're welcome to everyone that you don't have to see me on video today. And so my name is Hayden Moore. I'm a University Relations Talent Advisor at GM Financial. I've been with GM Financial for what will be 3 years in February. Can't believe it. And most of that time has actually been spent working from home because of the pandemic. So excited to be here today, excited to speak to our opportunities at GM Financial and everything we got going on over here.
And we'll quickly catch you up on the questions, Hayden. The first question we discussed was how the pandemic has impacted the program with you guys. And then I thought, if I remember correctly, you may have a good networking story. We were also talking about the power of networking. Would you like to address those quickly?
You bet. Thanks for letting me catch up. But we have just completed our first virtual internship. Went really great. We were actually really surprised with how smooth everything went. And I feel like we were very cognizant to put events and touch points into the program with the interns to make sure we are staying connected, to make sure they are getting connected with other interns, and we got great feedback for that. So for the first ever virtual internship program, we were just incredibly satisfied with how it went. Now for networking, I just want to speak quickly to just how vital and important it is. I've personally never gotten a job or an opportunity, with a company that I hadn't, gotten the position or gotten connected to the position through just a form of networking. Whether it's people that I was able to meet in a formal networking setting or an informal networking setting. Networking doesn't always have to be a quote unquote networking event. It can be just saying yes to an opportunity, not necessarily planning to go in and meet somebody who will be able to connect you to a role down the road, but just saying yes to an opportunity, happen to meet individuals, and down the road, they were, striking up friendships with these individuals. And then I, become top of mind for a position. It's just networking allows individuals to become more than just a resume and a stack of other resumes. And so definitely recommend it. We'll speak till I'm blue in the face of how important it is. And so attending events like these and career fairs are very helpful as you all are students.
Thank you. And thank you for smoothly getting kind of caught up with us here. Also curious, I've kind of pried into everyone's personal and professional background by asking for a networking story, but I'm going to do that once again and ask if anyone on this panel had participated in an internship in college and maybe the impact that had on your career. Would anyone like to share to get us started? Madison.
Yeah, so I'd like to shed some light on maybe those that didn't have internships, because that was definitely the boat that I was in. Not for a lack of trying, but I really think I honestly didn't know what I wanted to do, and I think that stems people throughout, even when you're your senior year waiting to get into that first role post grad. I was a nanny. I had a lot of different positions that I held. At my local gym, being the check-in girl, it kind of was varied. Every summer I had kind of a job in my hometown. But definitely don't stray away from putting that on your resume or speaking to that experience. I talked to so many people that, were servers and say, yeah, I didn't want to put this on my resume. I didn't think it was relevant to, what I'm applying for. And I definitely 100% disagree, because as a server, in any industry that you're in, you're learning how to multitask. You're doing a bunch of different tasks and a lot of different skills that translate into whatever you want to do. So as much as I, encourage you to get an internship with any one of us on this panel today, or any company, regardless of who it is, don't fret and don't think that it's the end of the road if you don't have an internship, because you can definitely, showcase your experience and showcase your individuality, and what you're involved in on campus as well.
I'm going to agree with that. I did do an internship and I actually got it networking. I had a friend who was working for one of the local sports teams here in Houston, and that's how I got the internship. But again, just like Madison, I did not know what exactly I wanted to do. It was just an opportunity, and I took it because I knew it was going to help me in some way, shape, or form. But just as she was saying, even if you don't do an internship, it is not the end. We love to see server is probably our favorite thing to see on a resume. You are getting that real live client interaction and learning how to deal with all different peoples and different personalities and crazy situations that happen. But any, job is relevant, and we want to see that on your resume because you are getting that experience, and some things that you learn in those jobs probably do apply to the position you're applying to.
Yeah, that's, I'm sorry, go ahead, Hayden.
I actually never had an internship in college, and one of the reasons why was nobody ever told me how important it was. And I definitely want to echo, if you don't end up getting an internship, it's not the end of the world. Like, I'm here today without an internship, but now I can speak to you on this end of things and speak to how helpful it is. Really, it is not only a great, way, it's like a 3-month-long interview. It's like, hey, I can be a contributing member of this team. And if you come in and you work hard, whenever you graduate, whenever positions open, we want to hire our interns because we've had experience with you. But it's also kind of an opportunity for the intern to see, is this a company I want to work for? Do their values align with what my values are? Do I enjoy, like, I'm coming to school to be an accountant, not only for networking, but do I like the work that I'm doing? Because if not, then maybe I need to consider doing something else because I don't want to do this rest of my life. So internships are great for multiple reasons, not only for, your exposure and networking for future opportunities, but also to maybe align yourself with what you want to be doing and where you want to be.
That question did not go where I thought it might go, and that's the importance of knowing your audience. But the bright, the great feedback there is you don't have to have an internship, to find an opportunity. Obviously it connects you in a lot of different ways, will provide experience, help you with your career search, that sort of thing. Freshman, sophomore students, I talk to them often and they're curious, how can I develop my resume? I'm not eligible for internships yet. I can't be considered for internships. So it's great to hear from you guys. It's not a requirement, right? It's not a requirement. There are other ways to build your resume, to gain experience, to impress employers. And kind of on a related note, next question would be, what could or should a student do to help themselves stand out? Maybe from the stack of applications you see or stack of resumes that you might see. Any suggestions there?
We really like to see when students are involved in student organizations, or if they have any leadership positions that they hold within those organizations. That really stands out to us. Any kind of volunteer work that you guys do. We love to see a well-rounded student. To be honest, if I'm looking at 2 resumes and one is just straight school with no involvement on campus, nor a part-time or full-time job or an internship, I'm going to likely look at the other one, regardless if the GPA is higher, just because we want somebody who is a little more well-rounded and not just only involved, on campus with going to school. We want to see that you guys are out there networking, building relationships with other people, getting some sort of experience. That really stands out to us.
I'll echo everything Stephanie just said, and just kind of reiterate something that she said earlier as well in terms of the follow-up. If you get an interview, if you meet up with someone, add them on LinkedIn, send them an email, send them a text message, call them, and just say thank you so much for your time. Do something of that sort. I think also a way that you can stand out is, during those interviews or whenever you get to talk to an employer, make sure that you're able to articulate how you provide value. So many times I see a lot of students just say, oh, this would be a great opportunity for me. And we all know internships would be awesome opportunities for you guys, but we want to know how you can, get into our organization and really grow. Especially at TTI, we like to invest in our employees, and we really like to promote from within. So if you're interested in not only your own career growth but also the growth of their company, that's really going to bode well for you as well.
Excellent, thank you. Before, Hayden, we give you a chance to respond, I think we may have Ms. Thomas on the line. Visa may have joined us. I just want to make sure that she is with us, can hear us, and we can hear her. Mike might be muted.
*6 if you called in.
Okay, we'll get back to the question while we continue to see if we can't get access there. Standing out, Hayden.
Yes. So I would say, dear, not only things you could do at work or related to your degree. Obviously, for some roles, getting a degree is required. But I would also say being involved in either leadership opportunities within student orgs or just being involved on campus. That's always helpful. It shows that you're willing to go the extra mile and you are using opportunities that you have in college to really develop your leadership skills. Those are things that we value. So it's really going to depend a lot on where you're at. If you're in a highly technical role, then we might need a certain background. But also, I would just encourage everyone to see your opportunities that you have, although they may seem small, be it student organization leadership or a job at Target. And I know this was already mentioned, but there are translatable skills, in Target. If you worked at Target, then a job in HR, there are translatable skills, but not only specific skills, but to be able to show, hey, I was able to work 30 hours a week while going to school full time. That speaks a ton to your work ethic and to what you would bring to a future role at the company. So don't view those things as wasted but just continue to take every opportunity and learn from them.
Thank you. What qualities or skills do interns, I should say, develop on site with you, and how have interns impacted your organization? Hayden, I think originally we had intended for you to start us off there. Would you like to address that one?
Absolutely. So in our program, we design it so that each intern would get not only on the ground level work within the department they're working in. So if they're in accounting or HR, they would be involved in meaningful work experience within that department. Technical skills related to the job, those are developed and those are enhanced. But we also, as a program, as a whole, we put in place specific events, trainings to develop our interns. And so we had an event, a networking event, where not only do you get an overview of networking best practices, but then we create an event where you are networking with leaders across the company. And that not only helps you network with leaders across the company, but it allows you to put into practice the things that we had just talked about. So we put in not only day-to-day skills that you would learn, but professional development is related to our internship. And then also, what impact do they have on our organization? We pride ourselves that we are able to offer a meaningful internship and a meaningful work experience. So you're able to provide, and the impact that you have on the organization is more than just, I was able to get them the coffee and they stayed awake through this meeting because they did that, because I did that. But you are a contributing member on the team for those 3 months. And for example, there are interns who we asked to come back for the fall. While we don't have an official intern program for the fall, we asked, hey, would you like to stay and work part-time while you're in school? And we've had about 6 or 7 interns say, yeah, we want to do that. And so they're continuing to work alongside us, and hopefully that even more so will lead to opportunities for them to work with us full time in the future.
Excellent, thank you. Anyone else like to speak to skills developed or impact on the organization?
Yeah, I'll share a little bit about TTI. So within this internship, interns are going to learn, sales techniques, how to sell in aisle with customers, interacting with customers every day, as well as, in the field marketing, guerrilla marketing types, as well as presentation skills. At the end of I kind of touched on it earlier, but at the end of the internship, you'll actually get the opportunity to present to some of our higher level managers, higher level people within our organization, which is a really great opportunity. Similar to what Hayden shared in terms of networking. So within our program, you'll be assigned a field mentor, someone you'll be with throughout the entire course of your internship, and then also a corporate mentor. So if you're interested in marketing, sales, recruiting, operations, supply chain, the opportunities are honestly endless. They'll pair you with someone that's in that field, higher up within the organization, and that'll be someone that you can connect with, and definitely, kind of hopefully follow in their footsteps in the long run.
Thank you, Stephanie. Would you like to add anything there, or?
In public accounting, they're going to get the real life experience. You're going to prepare tax returns. You might go on site for an audit client, and then, for advisory, you likely will be, working closely with the clients. We also do have a coaching program. So all of our interns are assigned a coach and a CFF, which is our Calvetti Ferguson friend, just to kind of be your person for you while you're there, whether it's what's the door code, how do I, put in time off, or what's her name? So we provide you with that person. And then I would say just in general, you're going to get those, I guess, professional workplace skills, like how to interact with your colleagues in the break room, what to say, what not to say, how to dress, how not to dress. I think a lot of students after the first week start realizing, okay, these are the hours. I need to make sure I'm here during those hours. It's maybe we shouldn't have these types of conversations in the break room. Just developing those skills. I think a lot of our interns come in kind of not knowing what they're getting into, because now they're, in a room full of professionals. I actually had an intern recently, that was one of her goals, was to be a better professional communicator, so that she felt more confident talking to anybody in the workplace. So those, just those basic skills are something that are really important in the workplace, and I think you definitely get those during our internship.
Thank you. I think I heard a little bit of feedback coming through there. Just a reminder to everyone to please disable your microphones. Thank you all for the detailed responses. I know a lot of interns who are starting a program, this may be their first professional opportunity, and many of you have already kind of spoken to some of the things you do to make those interns feel more comfortable and to get adjusted. But I didn't know if anyone would like to speak a little more specifically to your onboarding program or some of the training. I know we've covered quite a bit of that. Madison, I see you kind of shaking your head. Would you like to speak to that question?
Yeah, kind of just to go into a little bit more depth. I know I mentioned both the corporate mentor as well as the field mentor, but throughout that first week of your internship, you'll actually work alongside your manager, and with your manager, they'll kind of show you the ropes, take you to all the stores that you'll be, with. You'll be obviously introduced to your field mentor, who you'll be with the rest of the entire course of the internship. In terms of onboarding, a lot of it is, throughout the course of the internship, you also have e-learnings. So kind of that supplemental instruction, if you will, also kind of understanding our products, understanding our customer, online as well, throughout the course of the internship, which I think is really great. That provides that almost hybrid approach. In terms of onboarding, that's pretty much what it looks like. With it only being a 10-week program, it's not a super long onboarding process, right? Or else we'd be, maybe 5 weeks of the internship would be pure onboarding. However, whenever we get into some of our full-time opportunities, there are longer, areas for development and onboarding process as well.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to speak to onboarding specifically?
Our onboarding is, like I said, we bring everybody to Houston. And first day is usually admin stuff. So learning how, turn on your computer, all the IT stuff, dress code, HR, marketing, all of those fun things. And then after that, usually our tax group trains for about 4 days with our tax team, and audit is about 2 days. So they get pretty much the same training that our full-time hires get, minus a few things depending on which time of year they're interning with us. So as I mentioned, we do treat our interns as a first-year associate, so they are getting the same training as everybody else gets, and then they get their CFF as well to help them throughout their time with us.
Thank you. Hayden, I can't see your facial expressions or a nodding head. Would you like to speak to onboarding?
I can just speak quickly. We put in place events that prepare our meetings, I guess, information sessions that we try to prepare our interns beforehand for the program. That'll include like specific information, what time's orientation day, what's your first day, how will you get a laptop, but also like virtual best practices, things like that. So not only that, but we have an orientation day, actually orientation week, that's designed to get everyone up to speed, get everyone connected to other interns, get everyone connected with their team.
Thank you. A two-part question. I know we're running close on time here. I'd like to get everyone's thoughts on the timing of your recruitment, internships. Students are always curious about when to apply, when to start looking for those opportunities. And would anyone like to get us started with the timing? And I guess the second part would be where is it best to find those opportunities? Are those readily available? Stephanie, do you mind to start us?
Sure. So ours is a little different. We recruit usually about a year out. So this spring, we hire for our spring 2023 interns. Occasionally, there are some spots still open. Same for the summer. We're kind of filling those right now. Summer, usually the fall before, because sometimes some of our interns do stay on from the spring, or some of our summer interns from this summer might get, another internship for next summer. So we like to kind of see what's still open. As far as applying for our internships that are still open, you can always visit our website and go into the careers tab. Our summer ones are not posted yet because we are still trying to fill those in with some people that we meet at events like this before we open it up to the public. So if you are interested in that, feel free again to connect with me on LinkedIn, shoot me an email, and we'll go from there.
Thank you. Hayden?
Sorry, did you say Hayden? Just want to make sure.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
sir.
Okay, sorry. So our internships will start getting posted.
Both for full-time and internship positions, but I'll kind of reiterate more so what Stephanie said. The earlier the better. We definitely look at a year in advance. So if you're looking at the fall semester for next summer, it's definitely going to bode well more for you rather than waiting until May to look for a summer internship. But I'll just reiterate also what Hayden said in terms of adding us on LinkedIn, just looking at different areas where we'll post jobs. Typically, since it's our internship program is geared more towards students. You can find all that information on Handshake, and definitely, I'm sure if you add all of us on LinkedIn, we'll be posting about it as well.
Thank you. I know we're running really short on time. We have about 5 minutes. We wanted to get to a few student questions. Aisha, I know you've been doing double duty. Want to give a shout out again to Aisha, one, for the work she's doing behind the scenes, and to Dahana Thomas for Visa, who we've been trying to raise all of this time. But Aisha, had you had an opportunity to see the chat and get a feel for what kinds of student questions we may have coming in?
I think most of our questions are asking about international students, if you guys hire international students, and when is a good time to start applying. I think that's answered. So, yeah.
I can jump into that. So we do hire for some international students. It'll be mostly it'll be dependent upon each team. Will be, but so it's not widespread. I know our IT, our information technology roles, are usually more likely to go that route and hire international students. And so, yeah, that I think is mostly where we're at with international students.
Looks like, thank you, Hayden. We have someone opening a whiteboard. As we wrap things up, we would have a whiteboard appearing at the end of things. Please, if you have opened a whiteboard, please see if we can't get that closed for us. Depending on what we see pop up on that whiteboard, we may be ending abruptly this afternoon. Okay, there we go. Thank you. Thank you very much. Would anyone else like to address? I know it's a challenge in hiring international students, and I know most of you probably intend for your internship to be a talent pipeline for full-time hires, and I know that there are obviously complications that come along there. But would Stephanie or Madison, would you like to address that question or talk about your general philosophy?
So at this time, unfortunately, we are not accepting students who require any sort of sponsorship now or in the future. Also, mostly because we do hire with the intent that you're going to get a full-time position. I wish that weren't the case, but I would say a tip is just to also be very transparent with this when you are recruiting. It's probably best to have this on your resume if you do require it, so that you, again, don't get far along in the process. Most employers will ask, but we're also talking to many candidates in a day, so sometimes it slips. But just so that you're also not wasting your time, I would say just to make sure that you ask this from the get-go.
Madison?
Yeah, David, I'll just reiterate everything that Stephanie said. Unfortunately, we don't look to hire international students only because, we are hoping to have that full-time role and we don't offer sponsorship. However, you guys are still great. Definitely, again, I'll reiterate, still be transparent as possible. And you'll find exactly what you're looking for, I'm sure.
Thank you. I do know, like I said, I would like to throw in, speaking on behalf of Visa, that Visa does consider international students for internship opportunities, given the numbers of opportunities that they offer in the areas in which they're offering them. So that might be a consideration as well. Before we wrap up the panel, I just wanted to thank everyone for attending. Thank you to the students for sharing your lunch hour with us. Thank you all for being so patient as we work through technical issues. We've never had it go quite like this before, so we appreciate your patience there. But I wanted to give the panel an opportunity, if you have any upcoming events or anything that you would like to plug or mention or reference a link to in the comments.
If you're going public accounting route, I still have a few internship spots open. I think there's one in Fort Worth for the spring in our audit group, and one in tax for San Antonio for the spring, and then we probably have a few sprinkled for summer. I don't have those numbers with me right now, but I think there's a couple open for our Fort Worth office. I think Dallas might have been filled already. But if you're interested, again, please connect on LinkedIn. I dropped our website in the chat, so feel free to take a look at that. And it was nice speaking with all of you.
Thank you, Madison.
Yes, I just dropped a link in the chat. It's a Calendly link. I will be hosting some preliminary interviews tomorrow, so definitely sign up if you're interested. Feel free to send me your resume if you want to learn a little bit more. I'm happy to speak with you guys. Thank you so much. I'll hope to see you guys at the career fair too. If you guys have any questions there, I'll be there as well.
And Hayden, would you bring us home, please?
Yes, and since I don't have access to the chat, I would ask David to write at gmfcareers.com.
Okay.
You can check out our roles and then our current roles. But again, if you're looking for an internship, it's going to be more likely they'll start being posted around November. So yeah, we'll be at the career fair as well, and looking forward to connecting to anyone there, and speaking more specifically to your interests. Yeah, excited.
Thank you. Again, I just want to remind everyone that all of our panelists today are Mavs Edge partners. They invested significant time and energy in recruiting UTA students. So again, we want to thank them for that partnership. Thank them for being here today. You will find their opportunities in Handshake as well as visiting their websites. So thanks again, everyone, for attending. You'll find links. Please check those links out. Going to see a lot of links in the comments section. Best of luck this semester. Thank you all.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank y'all.